Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. And for those of you who will be watching at home, I hope you'll enjoy our presentation today. So today we are joined by 360 Love Healing in Abundance, an inspiring group that's here to share about how young people, seniors, and rescue animals are coming together to build connection, purpose, and hope. Our guests include Anne Marie Young, the founder and executive director of 360 Love Healing and Abundance, a community leader dedicated to bringing generations together through healing and compassion, and Gwen Hahn, a family and consumer sciences agent with the UGA Extension who works to strengthen families and communities through education and outreach. And our special guest, Bandit, who is very lovable and sure to melt your heart. I won't take up any more airtime because the story of how this nonprofit came together is absolutely inspiring, and so I'll hand the mic over.
Thank you. So thank you. That was a lovely introduction. And I met some of you guys at the volunteer nonprofit function that we had. So thank you for having us back. The wisdom, you want this back? So okay. Most people don't want to hear me talk, you guys. So we're thrilled to be here. We're grateful. The wisdom, the compassion, the experience that you guys bring is what we are looking for at 360 Love, Healing, and Abundance. My why is my mom was adopted. And while she was, and I spent 30 years in media, so I just started all the research last August, so it's brand new. But for 30 years, I've been thinking about how can I fix kids that are adopted or have that sense of where they don't belong for some reason when you're adopted at a later age and you're adopted from a Catholic orphanage, and I'm Catholic, so I can say this, nuns are not warm and fuzzy. So when you don't have that in the very early stages of your life, something affects you. And while outwardly she was incredibly successful, she was president of the Girl Scouts, she was president of the PTA, you would have never known it. But inwardly she was fighting this demon of whether she belonged or not. Fast forward, mom passed 6 years ago of ovarian cancer. Dad's 89 years old. I started watching my parents' families or friends going to assisted living and dad living by himself. And while you guys, everybody has friends, right? And this isn't just for seniors, it's for everybody in our world. People that live alone and don't connect on a daily basis, isolation is real. And isolation affects cognitive ability, it affects emotion, it affects everything about you. And I brought in the seniors into 360 Love, which is, as Vicki said, at-risk youth, seniors, and then there's nothing more loving and unconditional than a rescue animal. So we have several partnerships with 360 Love. One of my partners is here, Gwen. She's got a show and tell here on some of the things that she does with, for our classes, but we'll run through the presentation really quick. You gave me the, yep. All right, so let's make this a little interactive, you guys. How many of you here are gardeners? Awesome. And how many have mentored kids throughout your life? Could even be your own kids, could be your grandkids now. Yeah? And then how many of you guys have your own pet or have had a pet? There you go. There's my hands, right? So that's what 360 Love is. It's just taking intentional activities like learning how to garden, learning what proper nutrition is, learning how to meal prep, and the mentoring of the young adults and the animals. That's all it is. So, a few facts. Did you guys know in Hall County, 16% of our residents in Hall County are 65 years or older, and many of these folks live alone. 1 in 4 of the kids that live in Hall County, 11% live in poverty, and 1 in 4 face social or academic barriers. And then in our shelters, the Humane Society that we have here, as well as animal Hall County Animal Shelter, sometimes there are 30 animals a day brought in, either a surrender rescue from somebody who can no longer take care of their pet, somebody that's dropped off their animal at the Humane Society, or an animal that has puppies. So taking all three of these, that's what 360 Love is. It's born from just one simple belief, you guys, that when you take these three groups and you unite them, you can create a healing community. This is who we are. So youth 9 to 12, we do have a few 8-year-olds, seniors 65 plus, and then rescue animals. And here's our classes. So on Mondays, Gwen comes in and teaches gardening, nutrition, and meal prep. She is the director from FACS for the University of Georgia Extension Service, so she's incredibly knowledgeable in the space. And the kids love, love, love to learn about how to plant things we're going to grow, and we're going to eat the things that we grow. On Tuesday, we're working with a group out of Dunwoody, Georgia, Wealthy Habits. They teach financial literacy. So it's not just, how to make change for the kids. It's really about what is a scam, how to avoid a scam. All of the things, all of the curricula is for seniors as well as for young adults. On Wednesday, I work with a gentleman that has a social emotional programming. He works with the Gwinnett County DA's office. He's an incredible gentleman. He's a comedian by trade, so he commands the audience when he walks in a room. But he works with the DA's office and getting kids who are first offenders back in school. He teaches a 12-week program. They participate and engage. They pass, and the DA will let them go back to school. So we all know that if you have a first offense and you get kicked out of school, you don't go back to school. You're kicked out. And what do? You get in more trouble. So I've found people who have the skill sets to come and teach these classes on a different level. Larry teaches 13 to 18-year-olds, but then he comes in and teaches 8 to 12-year-olds in our classes. And then on Thursdays, our fun day. We teach music, improv, and art. My improv teacher is a Flint, Michigan. You guys know anything about Flint, Michigan? I lived in Michigan for 11 years. Flint is not the place you want to live. She was born and raised there. She lives in Atlanta now. She was a Boys and Girls Club recipient, and she swears improv changed her life. And now she's on my board, and she's coming back to help teach improv to these kids. So, and then the animals are just there for the love, you guys. So Gwen's going to tell you a little bit about what she's going to do for us, and she's got a show and tell. So, and wants to make this a little interactive, you guys. So,
wow. Good morning, everybody. So, as Anne-Marie was saying, I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences agent for the Extension Office here in Hall County. If you're not familiar, anyone here familiar with the Extension Office? I see a few hands. Okay, so the Extension Office is we bring the research-based knowledge to the communities. So we are in all over the state. Any research-based college will do this throughout the United States. And UGA and Valdosta State are the two here in Georgia. So the Family and Consumer Sciences agent, myself, I'm also a registered dietitian by trade, and I became a master gardener 2 years ago with the Hall County Extension Office, and that's how I actually became familiar with Extension. Is anyone here a master gardener or have been a master gardener? I see one hand. That's wonderful. So we are just actually wrapping up getting our group together for this next coming spring. So master gardeners they are individuals who learn all about gardening, and then they go out and help in the community. We have all sorts of programs. So with that, I took together and tied both of my areas that I love, both gardening on my own and becoming a master gardener, but then as a position of the Family and Consumer Sciences agent, where I bring knowledge to the community all about families, health and well-being, relationships, financial stability. All of those different areas sound like a lot, and it can be, but it's really fun to be able to do different types of presentations and bring different kinds of knowledge. So Anne-Marie reached out to me, and I was super excited to help because this area, 360 Love, Healing and Abundance, is both bringing youth as well as seniors, as well as the rescue dogs together. or animals, I should say. But bringing the seniors and the youth together to work in the garden, to learn about healthy meal prep so that we could do things like grow. These are from my garden this morning. I picked them. Does anyone know what this is? It's very fragrant. Rosemary, exactly. So I love myself some rosemary. And then this one's a little bit harder. It's another herb. It's oregano. So another great herb. This one isn't as fragrant, but growing different herbs, different vegetables. We're going to have things like raised beds. We're going to have viewing gardens. So these, where you plant it, you watch it grow, the different seeds, they're going to observe, and they're going to be able to do journaling about it. So it's going to help everyone with skills of observation, sort of research, as well as writing. So in all different capacities, in a fun way though. Learning about things that we don't learn about in school every day, but things that can really be taken home with them, and that they can actually apply to their lives and their families as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to grow things, but then we're also going to take those things and learn how to prepare them in a healthy way, ways that they may not have had experience with before. So always asking, what are things we like to try that they've not had an exposure to? And that's where it's great, because having the seniors or older individuals with more wisdom and experience helps them see other ideas that they've not been exposed to before. And it also helps them because everyone has gone through struggles in life. So when people share their experiences, they get then to learn how they can overcome those experiences. So it's great because even in small ways, just in gardening, hearing a success or a failure, learning that that's okay. It's not really a failure. Everything's that, when we say, like Bob Ross says, there's no mistakes, they're all just happy. They're happy changes. I don't actually remember his direct quote. Does anyone remember the direct quote from Bob Ross?
Happy accidents.
Happy accidents, thank you. That's right, they're all just happy accidents. And I think that's one of the things that's great. Like, we're gonna have a multitude of the viewing gardens. If one of them fails, that's okay. We learn, why did that one not grow? So we're going to have a lot of things from the growing part, like I said. We're also going to learn about pollinators and bugs, because those are an important part of our growing as well as just our environment. So we're going to do things like, this is a ladybug habitat. So we're going to get actual ladybug larvae and grow them and get to watch them and observe them. Praying mantises. We are going to have an ant farm. So many different ways that the kids can see, as well as the seniors, how these things play a part in our lives. These are two things that we're going to have as well. So just kind of a preview. Something to do with soil, because soil is so critical to the growing of our plants. And apple, this is an example of one type of plant that we grow. And when I say that, there's angiosperms and gymnosperms. And so anyway, those are some things that we'll be learning about. Anyone here like to get out in the garden and grow things with their family that they then, okay, what do you usually grow? Tomatoes. Anyone else? Peppers. Hot peppers? Green peppers? Both. Okay. What do you make? Jalapeno. Ooh, we got someone spicy in the audience. Yeah, so it's wonderful. And those are some examples of things that will grow, and then make things like salsa from both of those. Or let's see what else. Tomato sauce for some spaghetti. So a lot of wonderful things that we can take and do with the kids as well as the seniors and bring it together. This next week, we're going to be actually learning the basics of gardening. So they're going to be doing the viewing gardens, and they're going to be making a salad that's going to have every part of the plant. So understanding that we eat from the roots all the way up to the flowers. So the examples in this recipe are going to be, the roots are going to be carrots. Then we're going to have the stems, we're going to have celery. The leaves are going to be lettuce. Does anyone guess what maybe the flowers are going to be? It's broccoli. Broccoli is actually a flower. If we let that open up, those are the buds of the flower. And then we're going to have, the seeds are going to be our tomatoes. So thank y'all. I'm going to turn it back over to Anne Marie, but if you have any questions, I'm here and I'll be happy to answer them.
wrong way. So Gwen already went over this a little bit, the critical thinking skills, all of the skill sets that we're telling our funders. Obviously, we're writing a lot of grants for the nonprofit. Our accountability is I can do studies. If anybody's ever done any research, those are really emotional studies where kids fill out a form at the beginning of the class of how comfortable and how their emotions feel as they're doing things. And then at the end of class, or the end of the session, and our sessions are 8 weeks. Every 8 weeks, they run simultaneous with the school year, with the public school year. And they are the same school kids for the year. Our seniors come in and out. Clearly, we can't ask seniors to stay as long as we're asking the kids to stay. And then the animals will rotate in and out. We're working with Hall County Services, Animal Services. But the things that our research shows us that we can do at the end, and we're working with the school system on this, is improve attendance. Our attendance in our school systems has really dramatically dropped since COVID for a variety of reasons. Improve academics, and then reduce delinquency through our social emotional learning classes. For seniors, it's really about retaining cognitive ability, that social interaction every day. So I can use my dad as an example. He lives alone. He refuses to wear his hearing aid. He's 89 years old. And so when I go to visit him, sometimes he's not as cognitively aware until we start having conversation that day. And by like noon that day, he's his old self. So just having that social interaction every single day. And then also we do a lot of physical activity too, nothing crazy, but kids have a lot of energy, so we try to incorporate some physical activity. Emotional, social health, skill building and resilience, and then just our overall goal, you guys, just to reduce that loneliness and that isolation that kids and adults feel at various times in their life, so that they have a sense of community, so they know they belong, they're valued, and they can go to an adult, a senior adult, or one of us for anything that they need. Our programming started Monday on the 20th. Gwen was our very first speaker. We're working with the Gainesville Public Housing Group. They have housed us at Harrison Village. I don't know if you guys have seen public housing lately, but it's really changed. They've torn down all the old brick buildings off E.E. Butler where the Burger King is out there, and they built these brand new beautiful apartments. And you really have to be qualified for public housing these days. You have to have a job. There's a variety of qualifications. So we're housed in their community center, and the community center has an art room. It has a computer room. It has a big, huge community room, and then a kitchen. So we have everything that we need. It's also a big, beautiful building. The woman that is running, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Beth Brown here with Gainesville Housing. She's an incredible lady. She also runs the housing in Roswell, Commerce, and Norcross. So I'll tell you a little bit about her background. But she has taken her HUD funding from 50% to 15%. So she's pretty much self-sustainable. So it's a great relationship. We're introducing the seniors on 11/3, and we'll introduce the animals on 11/10. We want to just make sure that before we start introducing rescue animals and volunteers from the Humane Society and from Hall County Animal Services, we'll bring the animals for the first hour so it's not too disruptive. And the last 5 weeks, our seniors, our youth, and our animals will be together. This is a busy slide, you guys, but it's just the logistics. October 20th to December 18th is our first cohort, and then we move into 2026. We're at the Harrison Village Community Center. There are 8-week increments of programs that align with the school year, so that it aligns with the holiday seasons. Monday through Thursday, 3 to 5:30. 3 to 3:30 is homework. 3:30 to 5 is our instruction, and then 5 to 5:30 is journaling, excuse me. 40 participants, 40 plus participants, 30 plus animals, facilitators, interns, and then our kids again are 9 to 12. We do have a few 18-year-olds, and our seniors are 65 plus, but we will take 55 plus as well. How can you be part of our circle? We need volunteers. We need people who want to come and mentor these young adults. We can set up a schedule that works with your calendar needs. Doesn't have to be every day. Can be once a week, can be once a month. But there's so much wisdom and compassion and love in this room and experience And that's all we're looking for the kids. Your role isn't to do anything other than when Gwen is teaching, to offer input. Offer what you're talking about, what you've grown. Offer how you do your tomatoes. Offer some experience and show them what's already being done versus what we're showing them what can be done. Our reflection hour from 5 to 5:30. Just listen to what the kids say about what they learned that day. Add your own input and your own experience. And then ultimately at some point we'll have a big event. We want to do a community, we want our seniors and our kids to cook together. I might enlist you, Sue, for your background. But they're going to cook some meals that Gwen is going to help them with, and we're going to serve for the community, probably a simple luncheon. So might need some assistance, and I know somebody in here has done a lot of event planning in their life. And then, of course, if activity is not something that you're interested in, we have a QR code, and you can donate. On the website, on the last page, it looks just like this. You know, we'll take $10, we'll take $25, it all adds up. But for me, it was really important for my donors to know what they're getting for their money, and so you can see in this, looks like mice type here, but you can see on the website exactly what you get for your money. And that's it, guys. Any questions?
Please wait for the mic before you ask your question. Oh. Margaret, did I see you?
Do all the children live in the neighborhood?
Children, that's a great question I didn't address. Yes, they come from the residents within Harris Village. It used to be called Harris Square, and then also from Fair Street Elementary. You guys, if anybody knows anything about Fair Street Elementary, it's one of the poorest schools in Hall County, in Gainesville City. But the principal there is dynamic. She's been there for 32 years, and she has started a lot of her own programs and wanted to do a partnership with us. So they get off the bus. Transportation is an issue, and we can't fund transportation. There's a lot of logistics and a lot of compliance with that. So it's easy. They get off the bus at 2:45 and they come straight to the center.
And how are the children chosen to be in the program?
So they're vetted. My direct partner is with the Gainesville Public Housing. Dr. Tammy Howard, she came to Gainesville from 29 years in Athens doing the same thing. She's a licensed psychiatrist, so she has vetted the children for behavioral issues, for anything that might be not appropriate.
And the children want to be in the program?
Yes, yes. I didn't bring it today, but we had a little girl the other day. She just slipped me a note as she was walking out the door, and it said, "Thank you for letting me be here." Are they rambunctious? Do they have a lot of energy? Absolutely. But yeah, and you can speak to that.
Yes, I think that the kids are super excited to do something new and interactive. They're inquisitive, they're energetic, but I think if you had kids of your own or grandchildren, you know at this age, they just want to be heard. And so the activities, although they're wonderful and important, and they do bring a lot, it's also just having that experience of some adults be there listening to them, because so much of the time we are putting information towards them. But the interaction with individuals that are actually on their, like, talking down at their level and really spending time with them, and I think that they see that that's a care, right? That we're not required to be there and they're not required to be there. So it brings, it's something that they can see as a loving experience.
We are not a babysitting service.
What about training for the seniors?
You are trained.
So you're not expected to be the person who's managing them, or you're just supposed to bring your wisdom, and that's how you're bringing your own experience, and that's why you've been trained through life.
That's exactly it. I mean, we're not trained. My degree is in journalism, you know, so I'm logistics. I bring everybody together, right? Gwen is trained in a variety of things, including at teaching. What we're looking for is life experience. and just kids, just as Gwen said, they just want to know they're valued. You know, and they sit in a class of 30 kids, and Vicki can speak to this. She worked with young adults. For anybody that doesn't know, she worked with young adults for years before she came here. They just want to know that they matter. Other questions?
Is there a spiritual aspect to the program?
So, yes, but we use it judiciously right now because we're starting out, right? So Larry, my teacher on Wednesday, has 3 books out. Troubled Kids Need Jesus Too, Message to Mission. Everything he does is biblically based, but he doesn't use it in the class. You know it, but he doesn't cite anything from the Bible. So we're kind of working our way into that. We have not been told we can't do it, but we just want to be careful. One of the kids the other day said, "Can I get Jesus out of my backpack?" And I'm like, "What?" And he had a little statue of Jesus, and he brought it out and put it on the table. No more questions, you guys?
Well, from my background, working with kids, so some of you may not know this, but I spent the first part of my career working with at youth risk in residential care and in group homes. And we did similar programming in the group homes. And when kids, even if they have parents that are well-intended and try to offer them, solid guidance, parents who live in these environments are often strained by their own circumstances and finances. So having other adults that can hear them and be an influence, and it doesn't feel forced, it feels like a choice and they have autonomy, means all the difference in the world.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you all for being here. For those of you, I'm a big proponent of meaningful engagement, and there's nothing more meaningful than volunteering. So if this is an opportunity that you'd like to learn more about, please reach out to me or to Anne Marie. She has information here.
There's flyers in the back.
So I hope you enjoyed the presentation today. Please stick around and ask questions.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys. Did it just automatically go off?